and welcome. It's Sally and Kris, and we're here as a follow-up from our Facebook Live we did last Friday at the do-Terra convention, where both of us were really impressed and blown away by what we learned at the convention, in particular the presentation by Dr. Hill, who's an oils expert, and his knowledge is extraordinary. So what we thought we'd do today was a very quick video for you to share some of the things that we learned. And I'm going to actually hand this over to Kris now in regards to some of the highlights. We'll just pick back, 4 or 5 of the highlights.
Yeah.
So we don't over share and, blow everybody else out of the water, because it took a couple of days, didn't it, really, Kris, to sort of...
Oh my gosh, yeah, and I'm just sitting through all the notes I've taken and slides I have, and it was actually hard to just to break it down, but we'll try and break it down to the really important ones. So, one of the things that one of the things that I love, which I thought we'd start with, was the fact that Dr. Hill said that the essential oils will work regardless of you, regardless of whether you believe in them or whether you know how they work. And I thought that was really interesting. So, and we're talking about on that energy, Sally. So,
exactly.
Like tapping.
Tapping's exactly the same. Tapping works whether people believe it or not, which was really extraordinary in a study that showed they separated people who believed in it, people thought it was a lot of rubbish, and everybody tapped the same responses. So it's the same with the oils.
Same. Yeah. So I thought that was really amazing. So he was like, don't not use them because you don't know the chemistry, just use them. And they work in spite of you. So I really love that. One of the other really good points that he made was about diseases that are around in our present day, and infectious diseases are really not a problem for us anymore. So infectious diseases have really gone down. That's what's happened has been inflammatory diseases are just on the rise. So when you think about inflammatory disease, you're thinking arthritis, diabetes, obesity is an inflammation, and autism is an inflammatory disease. It really is. At its core, autism is an inflammatory disease. So I thought that was a really interesting point. And who doesn't know someone? I think you've got everyone to put their hand up, didn't it? Who here knows someone with high blood pressure? Who knows someone with diabetes? Who knows someone who's obese? I mean, everyone knows someone who has an inflammatory disease.
And I think when you asked the question about diabetes too, I looked around the room, over half, would have been 3/4 of the room knew somebody with diabetes. And it was really interesting because when I was growing up, there was hardly anybody with diabetes. I don't remember. It was like only 1 or 2 people I think I ever come across in the first part of my life had diabetes.
Yeah. So I think we can all agree that definitely, and what did he say? What's causing the inflammatory diseases? We have toxins in our environment, and that's, toxins in the air, Wi-Fi, EMFs are toxins in our food. The food isn't grown in good soils. It's a whole culmination of things. It's not just one thing that causes this inflammation. So I think that one of the big takeaways was being validated in, you and I, Sally, talked in our videos about using DDR and frankincense for kids on the spectrum. What Dr. Hill explained was that DDR, they've done studies, and these studies are very, very close to being released, and they're going to blow people out of the water. They're studying them at Johns Hopkins University.
Yeah.
That's a mouthful. That's too many S's. And they found that DDR prime is actually affecting cells on the protein expression on cells. So what that means is that's epigenetics. That's actually... it's able to influence the expression of our genes. So we can actually alter something that is acting in an inflammatory way, and to turn that off and make it act in another way. And that is just incredible. I mean, that's just crazy. And as well as their results with frankincense, which is just blowing people away with its ability to reduce inflammation. I mean, I see things come through my newsfeed every week now on frankincense and chemotherapy, on frankincense and joint pain, on frankincense, and and we know with the kids, little Deco on our video yesterday had his frankincense on.
And I think isn't there a saying, when in doubt, use frankincense?
Yeah, when in doubt, get your frankincense out. If you only ever bought one oil, frankincense, you know, that's why it is the king of oils, and it was brought to the wise men, or, you know, the wise men brought it to baby Jesus all those years ago. Right. So it's been so valuable and such a holy oil. So I think that was incredible, just to get some more validation on that, because those products are not generally talked about in an autism environment. But you and I know, because we're doing this so long, been doing so much other stuff with diet and toxins and things, that the inflammation is at the core of it. So what we need to do is go back and not just give oils for the symptoms, but let's go back and have a look at the, and it's a stress, right? And that's why tapping works so well with it as well, because the oils are lowering the stress, the tapping's lowering the stress, so the cells are under less stress and then can express properly.
Absolutely. And I think that's the beauty of this, is that we bring the oils together with the tapping, and it's almost like it's like on steroids, oil steroids.
Yeah.
It sort of speeds up the process so quickly, because you're also working at a cellular level in tapping and with the oils. It's just a beautiful relationship together.
Yeah. Beautiful. Now, the other thing I was really interested in was Dr. Hill talking about glutathione. Now, I'm not sure if you've all heard of glutathione. If you haven't, it's your body's major detoxifier. And it actually, glutathione is made in your cells, and it's like the little cell powerhouse. So it creates the energy, which then goes out to your body. So for your body to do what it needs to do and what it should be doing, it actually needs the cells to power it up. What happens is, in an inflamed state, the glutathione production is very depressed, and as you age, glutathione production decreases. I think it's after 35, which is terrible news. that glutathione actually starts.
Thank goodness for oils.
Exactly. So you'll find, if you're going down the biomedical path at all with autism, that glutathione is talked about all the time. Now, it's been a problem for my son, a really, really massive problem. And we've tried all sorts of things about, actually supplementing glutathione and all the rest. But even the biomedical doctors will agree the best thing to do is stimulate your body or your body's response to make its own glutathione, because that's what naturally should occur. So Dr. Hill was talking about this, and they've just released in Australia some supplements called the Lifelong Vitality Pack, which is so exciting, because those products have been in America for a while, and I've been having to get them in from America. So they're now available here, and they're TGA approved. There's a couple of products in there. There's 3 products altogether. One of the products is a cellular health and energy support for mitochondria. So it's like, oh, wow. And then the other product is the omega-3 product, which I have been using for years. It's got a really, really big dose of fish oils, but it's got a whole lot of other antioxidant support. And again, the omega-3s. So, well, omega-3, seriously, if Tim wasn't taking omega-3s and fish oil, he would be medicated. Well, we have almost been at that point when we've run out of the omega-3s, and months have gone by, and then he's been at the doctor's, and I've walked out with a prescription in my hand, and I'm going, what's gone wrong? We ran out of the omega-3s. Put him back on. So again, it's just fighting the fire in the cells. The cells are basically so irritated and inflamed, they're on fire. And of course, you can get no thinking and no good behavior when your cells are in that state.
Absolutely.
So I thought those was really great to hear. And obviously it's about aging as well. It's not about aging, on how you look. It's about how your cells are aging and how they're going to be able to, for us as mums, especially having been under so much stress, I could pretty much say all of our mitochondrial resources have been depleted. And we won't be making much more, because we're, if we're over 35. So this is something that not just for the kids, but the mums really need to look at. Is this mitochondrial support and the anti-inflammatory products.
Yes.
So I thought they were really interesting. Now, the other interesting thing was that with mitochondria, and there's a compound called limonene, and it actually is in quite a few of the citrus oils, and they found they were able to restore and maintain glutathione levels with these citrus oils. oh. So is that.
My favorites are the citrus oils. I just feel like this little burst of sunshine in my house every time I get in. I just got my lime oil, and I was just skipping through the house. I just love it. I love it. So obviously that's what my body really needs at the moment.
Yeah. And so don't you find this interesting that in all other levels we've talked about citrus oils as being uplifting and, you know, helping you to feel, you know, to get out of depression and feel energy, but they're actually feeding the energy on the inside to your cells, which of course you're going to feel better and happier and less depressed. So I thought that was like, oh my gosh, that we can use oils to help with the mitochondrial, because that can be a really big thing, especially if you're trying to restore it after many years of it being depleted.
I think that the point you made there, Kris, is really important too, is that we can tend to focus just on the children, but we as mums, and as you and I know, we've both been through emotional, physical breakdowns ourselves, you get pushed to the limit, your stress levels are so high that it's essential, mums, to be really ensuring that you're using these oils and the tapping as well, because if you fall in a heap, your children will sense it and feel it. They are highly sensitized. And I think, if I mentioned on the videos before, the Heart Map Institute has done studies to show that our energy actually extends from our heart about 3 meters, so 9 feet out. So whatever you're feeling is being pushed out. If you're tired, if you're stressed, if you're angry, if you're frustrated, if you're just exhausted, the kids are picking up on that. The thing is with our kids is they don't know what that is. Children on the spectrum feel things way ahead of anybody else. You know, they're so super sensitive. So it's essential that on this journey, that as mothers, we are also looking after ourselves. All those things that you were talking about, Kris, mums doing that as well.
Oh, definitely. And that's why, you know, you might get sick of Sally and I saying this, but we do. You're not going, you actually won't get the healing of the child without the healing of the family and the mother. You really won't get if you're just focusing in isolation. So
that's exactly right.
You get sick of us saying it, but I don't care. We keep saying it anyway.
And of course, we'll do some more on this, but I know for me in particular, and Kris as well, with the minute I took responsibility for my mental health, you know, once I realized that I needed to fix me, then other things started to happen. But you know, the focus had always been on our son with autism, to the detriment of myself and probably some other members of the family. But when you kind of go back and say, you know what, I've got to care for myself, I settle down, I feel better, then your children, you're better able to cope with them anyway. You've got more patience, more confidence, more wisdom, more intuition, and so when things happen, you can deal with it better.
Right, just one more quick point.
Yeah,
honestly, could talk all day. Is about consistency. Okay, you don't stop and start them. You need to use them. If you're trying to build up your mitochondria, you don't use supplements for 2 days and then not use them for 2 weeks and go, oh, they didn't work.
Yeah.
So Dr. Hill was talking about three areas that you really need consistency with. One was for resilience for cells, was frankincense and DDR. That was for you, you know, if you're breaking it all down to what would you start with, you would do the resilience for cells, frankincense, DDR, protecting your glutathione with your citrus oils, and then reducing your stress with the oils like that we've talked about before, like the balance and the lavender peace and all of those calming oils.
Yes.
Now, also just quickly, how the oils work. Aromatically, they work very quickly or very effectively for cognitive and respiratory issues. So, you know, that when we talk about oils, people say, how do we use them? You can diffuse them, you can just sniff them in, you can apply them topically, and some of them you can ingest. So aromatic, especially for cognitive and respiratory. Topical, for joint muscles and all sorts of things, but you know, obviously for our kids who don't like smells, we can also apply it topically and still get the effects because it is going into the bloodstream and affecting the cells it needs to affect. Oils in a capsule will go straight to the digestive system, so if we're trying to work on the digestive system, that's a good way to take them. And oils under the tongue will actually bypass the digestive system and go straight into your circulatory system. So but he also said there's no wrong oil to choose. There's no wrong way to use them. They're safe and effective as long as we are sensible and educate ourselves a bit, which I hope, you know, Sally and I are trying to educate you on that. And you know that err on the side of caution when we're telling you to use these, because we know how powerful they are. And, you know, and you do need to respect those. So, and I think I could talk for days as well about why we use the do-Terra oils, and we just had a look at, you know, all their testing and their facilities, and the heart and the compassion. You know, we had videos of the growers, you know, do-Terra actually building communities around where they're, you know, testing their oils and stuff. And so that was amazing as well. So, but I am confident after seeing all the testing, and you can now trace your bottle. You can actually put in the barcode from the bottom of your bottle, and you can trace it right back to the farmer. So you can see where it came from, when it got to do-Terra, what testing it underwent, and all the rest of it, which is very, very transparent, which is great. But I'm confident that these are the most therapeutic. There's, like I said, all the supplements are now TGA approved, okay to be sold over the counter in Australia. The oils are TGA approved, food grade. So I think that, you know, that's why, you know, we stand by using those oils. And, you know, the other thing is, I just wanted to say, and I'll hand this a bit over to Sally as well, is you can buy do-Terra from 1,000 different places. But Sally and I committed to actually supporting you so you can use these and integrate them as part of a lifelong protocol. We don't want you, we said that in the beginning, we don't want people to go out and buy 20 oils and not use them and not know how to use them, be overwhelmed financially and emotionally with them. We want to support you to integrate them, because seriously, if you want to just slap oils on and then eat McDonald's and drink Coke, they're not going to do what they should. It's got to be part of the whole. That's why we're using oils with tapping, we're using oils with food, with all of that stuff that we know from our past lives and our experiences over the past 100 years. Yeah.
And that's so true. And I think, Kris, that's, you know, for both of us to provide that support. So within our group, we will provide you with tapping support. We will provide you with dietary support. So if you're struggling with your children in certain areas, Kris can also provide you. We'll also provide you with some counselling and school support. So our journey, or understanding how we've, in particular, I guess for me, because we struggled a little bit more than Kris did. Kris had you know, we were very fortunate to have gotten terrific support, whereas we didn't have that. So we had to kind of navigate it ourselves. But all that history, all that experience, we're actually going to support you through this journey, and that is our commitment to you. And as you can tell from Kris and I when we speak, we're very passionate about this. You know, for us both to have gone through all of this, and to hear that people are still going through what we went through 13 years ago and 20 years ago respectively, just breaks my heart. It honestly breaks my heart. And every time I hear yet another child being sent home or suspended or left out, honestly, I feel like jumping on a great white horse because it doesn't have to be that way. There are solutions, and that's what we want to do for you. So I'm going to pop a link down the bottom. You want to have a chat with Kris, we'll put her calendar link down the bottom. Have a chat with her about your specific instance, and she'll be able to guide you, and then we'll head you up into our group, and we'll be able to begin the process of truly supporting you, walking hand in hand with you. There's nothing we probably have not been through before at some stage. There's nothing we haven't experienced on our journey. And we're certainly here to support you in your journey raising a child living with autism.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So that's enough from us. I hope we have helped in some way in sharing our passion, obviously, with oils and with tapping, and a little. And we look forward to supporting you on your journey. All right. Talk soon.
Bye for now. Bye.